Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with Patrick Renna.
So then Annie looks at me right in the eyes, and as dead as she can say it, she says, "You can't make a living being one of those artists at a theme park that draw the big heads and little bodies." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because you don't know how to draw." And I said, "But I know people." And she's
so
like,
true.
"No, you're not."
Well, look, two things. One, I completely disagree with her. Two, she says the craziest thing when she sleep talks.
No, it's crazy. We had a full conversation.
Wow. Anyway.
John.
Yeah.
It's about time we tackle a topic, alliteration, that both of us have extensive experience in.
Songwriting.
Nope.
Okay. I got it. Parenting.
Strike two.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Last guess. Okay. Marrying women. Oh, marrying women whose name starts with A.
John, come on. It's obvious. Beards.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And today, we are telling our listeners about Manscaped's Beard Hedger Pro Kit in an exclusive scoop that we broke here on Dadville.
Yeah.
Neither John or I we don't have beards. And everybody's, what?
Yeah.
But
give them a second for their minds to be blown.
There it is.
Okay, go.
But if we did, our first stop would be Manscaped.
It would be Manscaped. Exactly. Now, why? Here's why, guys. Because this cordless, waterproof trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths. That's 20 different lengths.
20.
You could be a different person every day for almost 3 weeks. All with one guard, making it easier than ever to craft your signature look. Plus, with titanium-coated T-blades, you'll get the clean cut you deserve without any irritation to your face.
And the Pro Beard Kit is much more than a trimmer. It comes with 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care. We call that PTC.
That's right.
To top it off, you'll receive 3 free gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress.
This is blowing my mind. You see, since I'm an expert, I know that beards need some special attention.
They do.
Manscaped has designed the perfect set of tools to keep it looking and feeling its best. Containing specially designed shampoo and conditioner to replenish the beard's natural oils. It's complex, but Manscaped has it all figured out.
Right there.
Along with a nutrient-infused beard oil to add a subtle shimmer and a pomade to shape, style, and moisturize. Your beard will never be the same. Ever.
You're right. But does that help with my beard? I've been holding off on starting that ZZ Top tribute band for so long, but it's coming. It's like sort of coming in.
Yeah. Keep waiting, because I'm not sure it's going to help with you. But don't forget, you get 3 free gifts, including a beard brush, a comb, and scissors to ensure maximum precision and attention to detail.
Manscaped has got everything you need to keep your beard looking its best and groomed to perfection. So get 20% off and free shipping with our code DADVILLE at manscaped.com.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use our code DADVILLE. The Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the premier solution to face grooming.
So we start these, Patrick, with what we call the brag sheet, just kind of letting people know. It's a little flex for you, and we get to read it and just let people know.
Great.
So today,
I thought you were going to brag about. You're bragging about me. I thought you were going to brag about yourself.
What a great way to start the fight.
I know. Here,
I'll go first.
Podcast, we are awesome. Here's a list of our accolades.
You just have to sit there and listen.
You're on our podcast.
Let us tell you what we.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. John always threatens that we're going to make the people read their own brag sheets, but I think that may be the next step up, is that we just read our own brag sheets.
I can't believe we haven't done that yet. I think it's the best idea I've ever had.
I'm not going to lie. I get the question occasionally when I'm at a coffee shop or somewhere, but it's, what have you been in? Tell me your list of credits. And that's a rough
Yeah. God.
Because
what a miserable start.
Hold on. Well, hold on. Okay, you ready? You ready for, here we go. In 1992,
Here we go.
I did. Yeah, it's rough. It's definitely
You should just have like laminated.
Yeah.
You should have like laminated IMDb.
You know what?
Lists.
Actually, I'm just going to do a QR code. I'm going to go, here you go. Scan that bad boy. It'll take you to my IMDb page.
And you just keep walking. They scan it and you just keep walking.
That's
That's genius. A QR
I might
code.
put it on my lower thigh. I don't know. Like, here, scan that.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah. Just
tattoo.
you should get it. You should get it tattooed. You just get it tattooed on your forearm.
Save a tree, Patrick.
Yeah, exactly. That way, if I'm wearing shorts, quick reveal, and pants, I can still get that.
Yeah. Well, too, you should do it as you run. So it's kind of like if they can pull it off while you're moving. I was going to say, John, that the equivalent for us, the equivalent for us is when you're in the airport. And John, you don't have to deal with this being a piano guy, but like with me with a guitar, hey man, you play music? Yeah. Would I know who you are? And then I could be like, just scan this QR code, and then we can.
Would I know who you are? We could have a whole podcast on just that question. Would I know who you are? If you did, you would.
I know you got to catch a
just
play something. Let me hear how good you are.
Play something. Okay, so here's Patrick Renna. Here we're going to dive right in here.
All right.
Has appeared in over 50 movies and television shows. That's insane. That is a lot of TV and movies. Good gracious. 50.
Wow.
Did you know that?
That's probably an old stat.
Yeah, there may be more since then.
I mean, I feel like it's probably not, because once you get over 50 until you hit 75, what are you going to say? He's appeared in over 62 movies and TV shows. That doesn't sound cool.
That's an arbitrary number.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's current.
He's pushing the mid 50s. Okay, The Sandlot, which 14 at the time, which I'm assuming we're going to get to that. You moved there. Son-in-Law, X-Files, ER, CSI, Bad Roommates, or Roomies, sorry, that you were a producer on, which is cool. And then Glow recently, which is amazing. Created one of the all-time great AT&T commercials with David Arquette. That's just our opinion, but we stand by it. Father of two boys, Flynn and Liam. Started a family-friendly lifestyle brand called Hambino. So we love asking this after we read this. Like, how do you feel hearing those accolades? Like, is that something where you're like, yes, like that's what we were going for, love what's happening, or is it something that's like feels like a surprise? Like, how do you feel hearing those things?
I wish I had more money. That's how it makes me feel.
Where's the money?
Yeah, where's the money? No, I mean, gosh, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to answer this philosophically. I feel like you've always heard those age-old, tales or sayings that say it's the journey that is the important part, not the result.
Yeah.
So results are cool, but the journey is more exciting. So it's nice when you take a look back and you go, oh yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I haven't done half bad, but boy, do I want to do a lot more. So that's kind of what it makes me think is like time to get going again and do something big, do something, that I could be proud of.
And you think, like you hear that and you think, I want to do more and more out of the love of the process of it.
Yeah. One thing I've been getting into a lot more is directing. And I have a production company out here in LA, which is probably the only reason I'm in this city. So, if I can bring that to Nashville, I'm coming, guys.
Come on, bring it.
But so I have this production company, and I partnered with a marketing company. So I do a lot of shoots for their clients, and then we also do original content and things. And I've been producing commercials in the last few months, just getting ready because I do want to I've been directing commercials because I do want to direct short films and then features, but I don't want to jump right into a feature and blow it and ruin it, because it's a lot. Like you had mentioned, you mentioned Bad Roomies, and I produced and acted in that, and that was a lot of work, and it was great, but the takeaway from that is I'm not going to double up on different trades like that as much, because acting and producing you don't sleep. It's next to impossible. And now I have 2 kids, so it truly is impossible. But anyway, I'm trying my hand at directing, and that's kind of what I want to do more of. I mean, I love acting, and the great thing about me and my career path is I'm a character actor, so I can do anything. And, I can do small roles or medium-sized roles or big roles, and then direct and kind of do it all, which is is the plus of being a character actor as opposed to leading man having all the pressure on you, you know? I'm like a character actor with leading man looks, so I kind of have the best of everything.
I was going to say, that
You
was
know what I
my
mean?
pushback.
Yeah.
That was going to
There's
be
a
my
podcast,
pushback.
so you can't see me, but I've turned into quite the Brad Pitt in my old age.
Just trust me. Trust me. Listen how handsome my voice is, guys.
Okay, so with your acting career, one of the things that I wanted to ask, and part of me is like, all right, let's ask this question and sort of get it out of the way. But there's a genuine part of me that really is fascinated by this and wants to know your thoughts on this, because anytime someone has massive success at any age, but you had massive success at what, 14, right?
Yep, I was 14.
14 years old. And, you know, we have a lot of our like musician friends out or on this podcast. And, you know, their version of it is when they've had like a massive song, especially when it was like their first song that they put out, you know?
Yeah.
And
Totally.
a lot of times that can be kind of a tricky relationship going forward with that, with the success of your first thing, especially being 14 years old. So I'm curious, what has your relationship with the success of The Sandlot been throughout the years?
Did Bad Roomies not top Sandlot? I thought it did. No, it did. Okay, no, just good to know. I'm gonna scratch that. Can you rewind?
Hey, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
No, that's a really good question, and I think that kind of ties into what I was saying about being a character actor, because, you know, a lot of people say, how'd you get through being a child star and these sort of things. And the funny thing, well, number one, the thing about me and being a child star is I actually wasn't a child. I was, like I said, I was 14. I mean, one more year you're driving and, you know what I mean? And you're, you know, dating girls or whatever, 16, 17. So like I didn't experience that sort of Macaulay Culkin syndrome where you're 9 or however old he was. And I also am a character actor. So I never had like Mike Vitar, who played Benny. He was in Teen Bop or whatever the heck that magazine was called.
Yeah.
Tiger Beat, maybe. I don't know.
That's right.
One of those things.
Oh, right. Tiger Beat. Oh,
yeah. So he was the heartthrob. Macaulay Culkin had that sort of crazy launch to massive stardom. And, you know, mine has been sort of a slow burn, and it's different because I actually didn't experience, I think, what you might think I did, I guess, to say it unclearly. I kept going. I kept doing my roles in different movies, and, you know, I have a lot of credits and been lucky enough to work a lot, so I was able to work. Yeah, obviously, Sandlot is something completely different than anything I've done, and has meant so much to people. Sandlot has meant more to people than most movies mean to people. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, obviously it's the number one credit on my list, but I think there are very successful actors that have a whole career and they don't experience something like The Sandlot, which is generation passing on to generations. I mean, the director has had people come up to him 3 generations crying and hugging him, and they, you know, it's just like, they're like, you have no idea what this means to us. And then you're just going like, you're beside yourself, because it is, that's a little shocking. When you hear it, you forget. So I don't know that anyone can prepare for a movie like that. And, you know, but it also, I guess, a movie has so many people that are part of the success of it. And especially a movie like Sandlot, the director wrote it, directed it, and narrated it. So, like, if anyone could get that, you know, beyond that pedestal or the mountaintop, it's him. And so it's not like, obviously I had a nice part in it and I like to think am part of the success of it, but it was really made by David Mickey Evans and his team, and they did something really special. So I think,
but I think the thing that's so surprising hearing you say that is, I mean, in my opinion, I think you may be the most iconic character. And while the characters are, every great film, this is the truth. Everybody stands so well on their own. I mean, each character is so great. But I mean,
I was just
you had so many.
I truly was just fishing for compliments.
Here's me biting. Here's me biting on the bait. Okay.
Yeah.
But I really mean this. Like, but your lines are the ones that tend to be so remembered, and you have such a recognizable face. Like, I think that is the thing that's so interesting about when you think about child actors is so many of them grow up, and you sort of go, if you're out in LA eating somewhere, and you look over and you're like, God, that guy looks just like. Yeah. But you still look so similar to how you did. What a weird thing to say.
No, it's true.
I haven't aged.
I can't grow a beard. It's a blessing and a curse,
I can't either. As I was saying that, I was like, where am I going with this?
No, I get
it. But
you
have such a recognizable look.
Well, when people think of that movie, they think of "You're Killing Me, Smalls."
I mean, that's the line.
The moment of the movie.
But that's the point too, is like, people always say, hey, what was your favorite part of a movie you did? And I never really, it's hard for me to answer because it's never going to be something that was on the screen that everyone else's favorite part is. It's always going to be an experience I had behind the scenes. Like, for instance, what's my favorite part of The Sandlot? Memory wise is all of us guys at our we all stayed in this giant condominium complex, and it had this underwater, and it had this exterior and interior pool that you would swim under the building to get to. How that's legal, I don't know, but this was the early 90s.
Awesome.
But like, we had that's an amazing memory for me,
where did y'all shoot it?
We shot it in Salt Lake City, Utah. Those are the things I remember. And then when you say, and I appreciate it to have some of the most memorable lines in the movie, but it's funny because there was a lot of improving done in that movie, but it was a different kind of improving. It was so like that scene where I'm talking trash behind all the batters. That was one take, and it was a continuous take, and he just rolled film. And he had a bullhorn, the director, in the dugout, and he would just yell insults at me and then tell me to say them. So it was like this improv of his. He was improvising through me. And then I would kind of giggle and be like, really? You want me to say that? And be like, we're rolling. Say it. Ooh, sorry. I don't know if I can say that. You could be but so like we had this great, it was his improv. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was mine too, because then I would sort of change it. Like, it wasn't, I don't want to put everything on him, but he was an amazing director, and we had this great relationship, and he brought out the sort of genius in all the kids that already had these characters within us. And,
Last question with that. When it came out and it's this massive success, did you have any thought to, I know you said like you didn't feel like you're a child. I mean, you feel like by that time, you're pushing 15, you're starting to drive, all that kind of stuff. But did you have any sense of like the plight of the child actor sort of thing? Like that's the stats on that are tricky. Did you have any thought of that at the time?
Well, no, because again, when Sandlot came out, it was not a massive success. It was It was a moderate success. Sandlot came out and made about $40 million in the theater, which I think equates to maybe 80 million now. So it wasn't, and it had probably no international success. This is the US. And that's what I mean. Like, yes, I was recognized when the trailer was on the TV, I was getting recognized. I remember the first time I got recognized at the library, the movie hadn't even come out yet. So when that started to happen, I went, oh, wow, this is going to be crazy. Like, and obviously even then I'm a unique looking person. And so I definitely got recognized more than any of the other guys. I also had that loud character, but it was a total hit, but it wasn't Home Alone. Home Alone, what did that make? A couple $100 million? Like, it was was exploding on the scene. It was a slow burn over 30 years. And now it's
Mm-hmm.
turned into something crazy. So
It's always so crazy when you hear about movies that become so iconic
right.
that you just assume, like, you remember it being like
Yep.
a smash hit.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
didn't have, like, we weren't on the Today Show. We weren't, you know,
That
we
is fascinating.
it is. And I bet you if it was this massive success, we probably would have been nominated for a SAG award as best ensemble. But because it, and not to say, I mean, success does help these nominations. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, White Lotus is an incredible show, and then it gets nominated because everyone loves it. Sandlot people liked, but it wasn't it wasn't this huge hit. So had it been that, it would be a different story. But we didn't experience all of these, you know, uh, this craziness. And then I was off onto another movie. Sandlot came out April '93. I had already filmed Son-in-Law, was just coming
Oh,
off
wow.
Son-in-Law, and then went and did an independent right after that. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
I filmed Sandlot in '92 summer, and then I think I filmed Son-in-Law in like December or January '92, '93. Then did some press for Sandlot. Sandlot came out, and then again I was off onto another movie, and a year later was on the big green. So, like, I didn't I was just working, but
Yeah.
not in this. It was a different time. It was a different time. It was also a time where
Yeah.
TV shows reigned. Like when you would get on. It was the time of Seinfeld and Friends and huge TV shows and big paychecks and all that. Movies weren't necessarily as cool. So, that's not true. Movies have always been cool, but you know what I'm saying? It was a big television age, to not be not be the lead of a sitcom, but instead be just doing movies and independents and big movies, and so it was a different experience.
One thing I'm always curious about with like John said, success at the age you had it. Let's say that one of your boys comes to you and is like, "Dad, I really want to do the acting thing. Like, I've got the bug," and they may be doing this, but has it affected how you think about that? Like, would you kind of be like, no, it's a headache and it's weird and it's going to mess your brain up. Don't do it. Or is it like, man, it was great. You know what I mean? Like, do you, if they came to you, what is your wisdom around that space?
Yeah. What's your like initial reaction to that?
Hell no. No, just kidding. I I think, well, my kids are a little young. My oldest is 5.5, youngest is 2.5. So they're not quite there. But
right.
I think that I would do anything for them. So if they truly originated it and said, this is something I want,
yeah,
then of course I'd help them. And I think that that's how I started. This was something that I had always wanted.
Wow.
And it just worked out. I think I would want them to wait until they were at least the age that I started, because I wouldn't want to start them younger. It's just too young. It's like, because again, so I did Sandlot, Son-in-Law, Big Green. Those were and an independent in the middle of one of those. Those were the four movies that I had a guardian on. After that, I was 16 and I got my diploma. And back then at 16 and a diploma, you could go on set with an 18-year-old. So then I had the older brother of my best friend just travel around with me. Like, I did a movie in Romania and it was just him and I. And he blew all of his money in the casino because he probably shouldn't have been my guardian at 19
right.
years. But,
so, and you're 16 at the time?
Yeah, maybe I was 17. Like, but again, this is the 90s. Like, This is the Sandlot. This is why people love the Sandlot, because we are afraid to not triple lock our doors now. Back then, it was like, just come home before it's too dark. Like, you can drive home and then just, don't go by that weird house. Love you. Like, that's how the 90s was,
Right. Just the one house you got to avoid. Yeah.
Stay away from that guy. He's weird. But so my experience was, I did not have an experience of set parents, set teachers. I had it for a few years, and then I was filming movies. I I was traveling to Canada. I did X-Files by myself. Like you mentioned that credit, I was 18 years old. That episode took 4 to 5 weeks to shoot because that opening scene where David Duchovny stabs me they flew me out like 2 episodes early to do that scene, and then they just kept me there. So I like met a girl. It was my first love. I was just hanging in Vancouver, like by myself, just being a young actor. So my experiences are, I guess, just a little different. I wasn't on sets for very long as that kind of kid actor. I was more of a teen actor.
Wow,
that is fascinating.
I mean, who hasn't fallen in love on the set of X-Files, though? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Just a tale as old as time.
We've been there.
I tried to kick Gillian Anderson out, but she was like, "That's weird. Mind your own business, punk." And then,
Okay, so speaking of being a dad, you're a dad now.
Yes.
How old are your kids? You have 2 boys?
5.5, 2.5. Yeah.
5.5, 2.5. So you guys are still in the thick of it. So what was becoming a dad like for you? Like, did you and your wife, Jasmine, had you been together for a while? Did you always want to be a dad?
Yeah, both. Jazz and I, we got married in 2006. We started dating in November 2005 and then got married October 2006. So we got married very fast, but I've been friends with her since high school. So I've known her and we've ran in the same circles. She was the maid of honor and I was the best man in 2 close friends of ours' weddings. So we were always around. So when we started dating, we knew okay, well, we've been friends for a decade. So we got married fast. And then,
have you already started working on that script? The best man, maid of honor, that whole thing?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're available if you need it.
Oh, great. Perfect. Yes. I'd love that. And
for either role.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. This is going to work out great.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were married for about a decade and then decided to have kids. We just, we wanted to travel, we wanted to do things together. We, had some projects that we worked on over the years together. And then in our her early 30s, my mid 30s, we just were like, okay, let's have kids. I'm an only child, so that I vowed that I would never have just one.
Really? Why is that?
Just because I have a big family. I have a lot of cousins and uncles, and I just love that aspect of my family. And, I had a great upbringing, but I see people with siblings and, especially in your older years, I think, a very close friend of mine, she has 3 boys. She's one of those people that ditched for Austin. And she's an actress actually. So hold on a sec. This is all coming through to me. I got to call up this. Anyway, she has 3 boys, great big family. And she has her brother and her are very close. And if she gets, that's weird. She just texted me. I kid you not.
It's all happening.
Ooh.
It's all.
Heard that ding. That was her texting.
Patch her in.
Yeah, I will. I should. So her and her sister-in-law are very close. And if you get sick, the whole family gets sick. And then if the husband and wife are sick, you're toast. Another couple friend of mine both had the flu over the holidays at the same time, and they have 2 young kids. And I'm like, how are you alive? What did you do? Anyway, her sister-in-law lives an hour flight away, and she'll fly in and take care of the family. And she does the same for them. And they're just there's no one that close as a sibling. You know what I mean? It's so that's what I really wanted for them, especially they have, people they can play with now. And then in their older years, when they have kids, they'll have each other to, lean on, which I think is
y'all
nice.
Want to have a third, or you feel like y'all are done with 2?
We would love to, but I think we're just, that's a lot. Come on. Outnumbered? I don't know.
I have 2 kids. Dave has 3, and I think 2 is the perfect. 3 is insane.
Dave, you have 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
We do.
I would love to. I'm not I'm getting up there in the age, so we're not in our 30s anymore. So I don't know that I would want to have a kid too much later, but we'll see.
What is it like? I mean, what is it like having kids in LA that are when you're in the film and TV industry? Is that tricky at all? Do you feel like it's fun?
Yeah,
bad, good.
Having kids in LA is very expensive. LA is extraordinarily overpriced. But then, as far as like the industry side of things, I don't. It's kind of funny because my older son Flynn, like. I'll get stopped and do photos and he's with me. And he's so funny because I when that happens, I'm like, no, I don't want you to be in this photo, bud. So he'll like go off to the side, but now he just like hides behind my leg when I do it. And then he leans up and goes, Dad, I'm not going to be in this photo. Don't worry. So it's pretty cute. Like he doesn't really understand why he shouldn't be in it, but I get a little protective of them on that stuff. Like I don't
for sure. Yeah.
But again, I put them in my own stuff, like on my own social media. I'm not the kind of person that's like hide my kids from social media, but I don't want someone else to have photos of them. I don't know. Just, you know what I mean?
Well, that was something I wanted to ask you about because I have had my kids in like social media posts and things like that. And Dave, I feel like for years you did not do that, and just recently you've started to, post some pictures of them online. So I was curious, was that like a conscious thought with you and Jasmine? Like, okay, let's put them in this video, or were you hesitant about it?
We talked about it early on, and we were like, where do we stand on this? Like, this is such a hot issue. And then I was like, I don't care. So I think we just kind of went, whatever, we don't mind. But we want to have the control of what we can post about our kids, because it's like, if I take a photo with my wife and she doesn't like the way she looks, she'll kill me if I put it out. And who am I kidding? Yeah. The other way around too. If she puts something out I don't like, unflattering, oh my God, she will not hear the end of it. So I think I just want to make sure my kids look good when they're on, if they're going to be seen by a lot of people. That's all.
Yeah. What outfit are they wearing? All that.
They look stylish.
So I end the presentation with, we all know the X-Men, but do we know the text men? And it'd be a bunch of superheroes that have phones where they can super speed text and save the world because they get the information out faster than anyone else.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. Why at your daughter's class, though?
Because they weren't paying attention, but that's the demo we're going for.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yeah. That checks out.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, Dave, I can't tell you how much I'm loving this episode. Are you liking it?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I've ever had this much fun.
Yeah. I mean, I watched The Sandlot countless times growing up.
Same here, but I always wonder what would happen if Hambino had took the proper amount of vitamins, right? I mean, who doesn't watch that without thinking?
I know it. Well, I was just thinking the same thing. But here's a question for you, Dave. What do you do when you find out that the vitamins you're giving your kids are just full of sugar and unhealthy chemicals?
Well, that's exactly where today's sponsor, Hiya Health, comes in, John. Hiya is the pediatrician-approved, super-powered, chewable vitamin that gives your kids the full-body nourishment they need without any of the junk.
That's right. As a dad, that just gives me peace of mind knowing that my kids won't be bouncing off the wall when they go to school, right? And when we got our shipment, the kids loved the fun decorations that you can do on the can that they came in. They make them their own.
Oh, no, I know. As I always say, John, what do I always say?
You always say art is food for the soul.
Hiya is formulated with the help of nutritional experts. Hiya is packed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, plus 15 essential vitamins and minerals, like vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more.
Now, I don't see homework and house chores on that list. Were they not on there? Okay. Anyway, do you want to know the best part, though, guys?
Yes.
Hiya is non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and everything else you can imagine. perfect for kids of all ages.
So why wait, John?
Don't wait.
Don't wait. Give your kids the nourishment they need without any of the hassle. Get Haya, the superpowered chewable vitamin sent straight to your door.
Now, we have worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. You can receive 50% off. That's 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/Dadville. This deal is not available on their regular website.
So go to HIYAHEALTH.com/Dadville and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Well, I was just going to say, one of the existential dilemmas, I think, of being a parent in the social media age is that, and this scares me to death, and it's why I've kept, for the most part, my kids off of my social media feed, is because they're not old enough to know how they feel about that yet. And I have this real fear that when they're 18, they sit down and they go like, hey, Dad, like, hey, I didn't really... I wish you hadn't done that, because now what I know about it, I wish people, you know what I mean? It's that tricky thing where I'm like, I just don't know. I don't want to speak for them quite yet when they may come to me when,
you fill up your arms, you knock over the plate of food on the table and go, oh, really? You wish I didn't feed you for 18 years too? You wish I didn't put you through college? You wish you weren't at NYU right now? And then you just storm out.
Exactly.
I say that exact response to everything, oddly enough, line by line.
So do I. I do it right now. It doesn't really go over. They don't really understand what you're doing.
It never.
They'll get it one day. It'll sink in one day.
When it lands, it's going to be huge.
I hope they don't want to kill me because of some of the things I've done, like shown. But usually they're the funny ones on the thing, so I don't think they'll be mad.
Yeah, exactly. So as a dad, what are the things that you what are the things that you feel like you're really good at and that make you feel like at the end of any given day, like what are the things that make you feel like today was a good day? I was a good dad today. And then on the flip side of that, what are the things as a dad that you worry about, lie in bed at night thinking about?
Everything. I worry about everything. It's the worst. But I think 1 out of 10 situations, we'll call them situations, where everyone's going crazy in the house. I would say 1 out of 10 times I sit Flynn down and I'm just super smart guy. And I'm like, listen, buddy, you can't do things like this. And here's why. Here's a little education for you. And then he's like, thanks, Dad. And it's just fully that moment, and I walk away from that and I go, I'm a good dad. And I truly do that 1 out of 10 times. The other 9 times I'm screaming with them. I'm slamming doors with them. I mean, I'm Italian and Irish from the East Coast, so forget about it. I wonder why they
forget about it. Yeah. I have 1 out of 10. That's pretty good.
Those are the moments. I mean, it's funny. I've even listened to audiobooks, on good parenting, because it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
When someone, and I don't know if you guys have boys or girls, but generally I've seen the young ladies that are their age in the world, and they seem not to put them in a box, but they seem more polite and better humans all around. But when two dudes get together, I mean, they are jumping off couches, bonking heads into each other. I mean, they literally smacked heads the other day. And then I have 2 kids hurt crying with bumps on their foreheads. And you're like, there's nothing that trains you for this moment. Nothing. There's nothing that being a father is hands down the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and hands down the most rewarding and thing that I'm the most proud of is that, these just raising and watching these two and raising them to do better than I did.
Are you ready for that sort of stereotypical moment when, if they start doing sports, I can't imagine, this needs to be a skit, but where you show up at the base and you're just you're sitting in the car, just here we go. It's going to happen. I'm going to walk on this field. People are going to recognize me, and it's just going to begin the mayhem of oh my God, it's the guy from Sandlot at a baseball field with his kid, Yeah.
The funny thing is I coach my Flynn's T-ball league. So I decided to coach it because I wanted to just lean into it. And it actually, it's worked a lot because yes, that first day, the rest of the team is a little, the rest of the team parents are like, oh, it's cool. Even 5-6-year-olds are watching it now. Like I said, it's like passed through all these generations. So I that day one is a little crazy, and then you get it out of the way, and then it's not crazy at all. Then it's crazy with the other team, but I'm kicking dirt at the other team. We're getting into it anyway. So it works really well.
He's still in the dugout with the bullhorn, yelling at you the lines.
The other great thing about being an actor in LA is there's always a bigger star right around the corner. So at my T-ball league, Clayton Kershaw also was a dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's got twice the pressure you do out there on the baseball field.
Oh, yeah. And I played him one game, and like they have to like seat them in a special area inside so that, so it's nothing.
That is hysterical. I mean, that is so great.
I've met him, so then we give each other a handshake, and we're like, yeah, the pro athletes, like we get each other. We get each other.
That is amazing. That is so.
He's actually probably one of the nicest sports players I've ever met. He's so cool.
Oh, that's so great.
I've only met him twice now, but he's really cool.
Tell us about the Hambino Foundation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, so I, in the past, I think Urban Outfitters started it with this shirt with me pointing on it, and it's sort of become something that I've seen plenty of around. And I've always thought like, oh, that'd be cool to like just do it myself as opposed to a number of other people doing it. A close friend of mine has her own company, the Mighty Company. It's a pretty successful jacket company, and so I was sitting with her and my wife one day and was like, I'd love to do this myself, but I don't want to just do like a merch line because it's cool, but it will just, after a year, it's okay. It's already kind of seen its run. I want to make like a really a nice clothing line, an athleisure line that people really want to wear. So we kind of teamed up and we put this together, and she designed it, and we created, Hambino Athletics, and it's really, it's all made in LA. So it's made in the USA, LA.
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
all handmade clothing, done in factories that pay ethical wages and things like that. So that was really important. And it's very it's stuff that I would wear, like the hoodies and the sweats. I don't wear them out because it says Hambino on it. That's a little much, but I do wear it around the house because it's truly my favorite hoodie and pair of sweats. I'm not that's how we design them. The shirts are amazing. We've made this cool jersey. So we've got this great line, and it's going great. We started it in the beginning of November, and we're basically sold out of our first run. And we're it takes a little while to make, so we're a little behind. Like we weren't kind of expecting that. So we're going to be making the new stuff's in production now. We also didn't make enough big sizes. Like there were some dudes that were like, "Where's the XXX?" And I'm thinking they're going to find me and pounce me. So we're doing XXX now. We're going all the way. But then along with that, obviously I wanted to do something that made it more worthwhile, that, it wasn't just about, profiting or just that. And I was like, wow, we could do a certain amount of the proceeds that go to something, but then there's no control on my end or the company's end to like, what are you doing with those funds? Just give it to someone, and not that, hey, give it to the Red Cross. It's great. I'm sure they need it and they do great things with it. But I kind of wanted to be more involved in that part of it too. Like Clayton Kershaw, speaking of him, I've heard stories that on the off season, he goes to Africa and literally builds schools with his wife. I think that was before they have a number of kids now. But anyway, you get your hands dirty and you're part of the actual movement of it. So along with Hambino Athletics, we opened Hambino Foundation. And so not only will a portion of proceeds go from Hambino Athletics to Hambino Foundation, but we will decide where the funds go, and we're going to start, doing fundraising for it. And I'll, host them, and I want to like travel around and go to different cities and raise a bunch of money. And then the idea is to, give that money, like actually buy sporting equipment or even build fields in underserved communities for kids that don't actually have a baseball field. Like kids that actually play on sandlots because they don't have a real field, build them a real field, Nobody wants to build an actual sandlot because that's just like rock and dirt and scraped knees. So we'll go turn actual sandlots into real ballparks.
That's great.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So HambinoFoundation.org, is that how people
find it? It's HambinoAthletics.com right now. And then there's a splash page for Hambino Foundation. Like I said, we kind of everything just started in November, so we opened the foundation. We're doing all that stuff. Like it's all just kind of happening right now between everything else.
That's so great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you for your time. We always ask a couple of last questions before we send you back into the chaos of
I love
two
it.
boys, the Tasmania Devils. Okay, so first question: what's the one thing you want your boys to know?
Oh, so you do this just to make the guest cry on the way out?
Hey, listen, you're the actor. Take it where you want.
Okay.
Go where you need to go.
I will. Give me a minute. Hold on. I think I think the number one thing I would want them to know, is that to never question, mine and my wife's love for them. Like to know that no matter what they do, or what we're dealing with, that we love them unconditionally, and to pass that on to their kids. And then I think the most important thing is to be kind to others, which is hard to do, but that's what this world definitely needs a lot more of, especially now. And so that's what we try and raise them to do, is just be kind in life. And obviously they're young right now, but eventually to have that concept that you don't know what someone's going through that is putting them in that mood that they're giving to you, and to assume anything about another person is the worst thing you can do, and just take a minute and go, hey, maybe they had a real bad morning, so relax and be kind.
Yeah,
it's hard to do though. It's
right.
It's funny that how hard it is to do, but it is the most important thing.
That's great. We've got one last question, but a lot of our guests will answer some version of just unconditional love that they want their kids to know. But I don't know that anyone in our 100-some episodes has articulated that they want that to then be passed on to their kids. That's really beautiful. Okay, last question.
I nailed it, Dave. I nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it. We haven't seen any tears yet, but we got one more question.
I'm taking deep breaths in between every sentence so that I don't start blubbering. I
appreciate that.
Yeah, I know how to continue.
You know the gig.
Yeah.
What do you want your kids to say at your funeral?
Oh God. Jesus, that's terrible. And great. All that. My mom always says, when she goes, she doesn't want like just this. She just wants everyone to get drunk and celebrate her, and it like she's the Irish side. So, but I always kind of love when she says that, like, cause I know what she means. She doesn't want it to just be this sad affair where, it's, people are going and getting together because of her and not having a great time. So I think that's the most that I could hope for, is that when that day comes for them, that, they make it a celebration, and, that it's, you tell the fun stories and the great things and remember all those important things, and then get it over with. Like, move on, go, go do something else. Because, lingering on that stuff, I think is rough. And, you can do a little and, talk about how friggin' amazing I am, and then, get the hell out of there,
Sure.
Then off to Disneyland. I don't know, something like that. Spread the ashes, go to Disneyland.
Disneyland. The old classic post-funeral Disneyland visit. I mean, who doesn't?
Another. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. This has been great.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really cool. Thanks, guys. See you in Nashville.
And we'll see you moving in Nashville soon, right?
Well, I don't know if I clearly said it, but if I'm leaving LA, it's definitely not for Texas or Florida. It would be for like a Nashville. So
there we go.
Okay,
there we go.
So there's only like 47 other states that we're competing with.
Yeah, no.
And Puerto Rico.
No, there's not. I'm definitely not moving like to Montana. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Sorry to all the Montana listeners, but that's a lot of snow.
Okay. We're going to get emails.
Most of our demo.
Yeah, you are. Let's end this before it gets really bad. I'm definitely not going to Idaho. Thanks, guys.